Today, we're going to hit you with a countdown list.
Yep, and we're going to be listing the top 10 chemicals transported by highway every year.
And we're going to be ranking them by the estimated weight in tons, giving you some important and actually not so important information about them as we go.
So let's get into it and see if you can guess what's next.
Hey, Jake, you know what the worst part of arriving at a hazmat scene?
Besides the fact that my hair looks like a rat's nest?
That's true, but also uncertainty. You have no idea what's in the air.
And just assuming that it's just chemicals, that's not going to cut it. We need answers fast.
That's where the Explorer comes in. It's real-time chemical ID, quantification right there in the field.
Yeah, and not so much something's probably bad. It tells you exactly what's there and how much.
So you can set up your safety zones like an adult and not a rookie guessing where to put the tape.
Defensible, quantitative data in seconds, making decisions, making a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, so no more waiting around for an answer, just a solid, life-saving intelligence.
Check out Explorer and stop guessing. Check it out at 908devices.com. You know what stresses me out at hazmat calls?
What, the part that everybody stands around saying, boy, it smells like musty hay.
Exactly. Guessing is not a tactic.
Right. That's why Teledyne FLIR Defense builds detection tools so that we can stop doing that. Real sensors for real CBRNE threats.
You know, they've been at it for 30 years, helping first responders actually know what they're going to deal with.
Hazmat, Homeland Security, Public Safety. They make ugly scenes with clear answers.
The more you know, the smarter you operate.
So check out Teledyne FLIR Defense for any threat, anywhere, without the mysteries.
You know, we promised you we'd look into a solution for battery fires, and a lot of companies came and they presented with us. But one is noteworthy because it actually extinguishes lithium-ion fires. It works on multiple classes of fires, prevents fire from spreading, and lithium-ion batteries from reigniting.
And before that guy with the keyboard warrior starts cap locking asking for proof, the links are in the show notes for UL Class A and B, as well as the BSI for 10 categories, including lithium-ion batteries. You
know, we've put it through our field tests. We've really tried to break it, and the results were very interesting. And now we suggest you do your own myth busting. It's available in various options to integrate into your current process. You can access it by checking out Fire Suppression Solution or clicking the link in the show notes.
Yes, good stuff. Here we are. Man.
We have arrived.
I guess so. It's crazy.
And it's time for us to tackle a list. Lists are fun, I think. I think that I like the what's next nature of it. And so we're gonna handle the top 10 chemicals transported by the highway. So what's around us on a daily basis as we're driving to and from places, right?
Yeah, and you know what? The funny thing is like me and Mike did a whole bunch of lists way back, and we're going to shuffle the deck and see what happens with this one because there's a lot of stuff on the road and the rail, and I want to see if you, dear listener, can guess what the next one is. Well, all of them, all down to one. What's the most transported commodity? Take a guess now and hang in there.
I think that one of the things, as I kind of was working to prepare this, the quantities are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like of some of the products that are produced and transported by road. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, let's start out with the first one. You got
number 10.
Good old number 10. Good old number 10. Hydrogen peroxide. Now, this one, they say, is about 1.2 million tons per year. And this is specifically the DOT, 2015, which is your 5.1 oxidizer, or it could also be a corrosive it could be as well. I think it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think the oxidizer is the primary hazard that we're thinking about when we think about hydrogen peroxide, definitely, right?
Right.
And so this is going to be used in chemical manufacturing, oftentimes used in paper, to kind of clean that paper, bleach that paper out, that oxidizing principle. So we're going to be using bleaching paper pulp, disinfecting water, also using in manufacturing semiconductors, cleaning microchips, stuff like that. But yeah, industry for sure.
You know what? Something popped in my head. There was an incident that happened. Oh man, it was a while ago up in Canada where they had hydrogen peroxide in drums. It was like in a shipping container, and one of the drums dropped over. And when a peroxide interacts with the wood floor of the container, it actually lit it on fire, and then it lit up the whole yard. I should really look that one up. It was crazy.
One of the joys of dealing with the oxidizers right there, right?
Yeah, it was nuts. But most often you're going to see this in your DOT 407 chemical tanker. They have the ability of carrying up to 22 tons. Now, as far as a shipment, there is about 55,000 of these go per year, and only 20 to 30 releases per year. So a little factoid is that the high concentration hydrogen peroxide is actually rocket fuel. Right, the 3% you put on the kids' boo-boos, the 30% you need a license to be a hairdresser and get this stuff. But when you're talking 50, 60, 70%, you're talking about rocket fuel. So it has the equivalent of 4 billion drugstore peroxide bottles. So lots of stuff.
4 billion. That's how, like, if you were to ship it not in the 407 chemical hauler. It would be 4 billion bottles of drugstore peroxide. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I mean, I don't know if it's easier to visualize 55,000 407s or 4 billion drugstore. Either way, it's a insurmountable number. All right, on to the next. Right, number 9. Drum roll, please. Insert sound clip. Chlorine. Right. The ever common in hazmat chlorine, right? So they estimate on a yearly basis in the United States around 5 million tons is moved over the road, right? This is UN placard 1017, right? This is a toxic gas. It's an oxidizer. It's bad all around, right? So we're very familiar with chlorine in the fire service. It's one of the most common things that we deal with.
One of the places I'm kind of surprised by how little I saw in my area, as far as just releases, but 4 large chemical manufacturers, they use it in water treatment plants, plastics, paper mills. Once again, they can disinfect drinking water. They can use it in PVC plastics and industrial chemicals as well.
And so, we see this very common. We know we have our kits. We have our A kit, B kit, C kit for the various forms of chlorine transportation, right? Very common. You can see this as the ton container or ton container trailer, and that is going to bring about 18 tons of chlorine. We ship on an annual basis around 280,000 shipments of chlorine over the highway, but only 20 to 40 of those get released in a reportable quantity.
Okay, hold on a second. There's only 20 to 40 releases. Think about in your technician class how much time we allocated to this.
No kidding, right? And I think that's probably because a lot of our releases are happening at a scale that's less than highway container quantity. That would be my guess. Because if we think about 20 to 40 releases a year, that's what is being reported through the pipeline or the pipeline, reporting. So I would imagine that the stuff that happens at, the hotel pool and stuff is a different statistic than that, if I'm being fair, right? But chlorine was first used as a chemical weapon in the massive scale in World War I. This is a crazy fact here. Let this one sink in, okay? Enough chlorine is produced on a yearly basis to disinfect all 10.7 million swimming pools in the United States for over 100 years.
That's
it's an unbelievable statistic that is true.
All right, number 8, our good old friend anhydrous ammonia. Okay, the
water.
estimated highway transport is about 8 million tons a year. This is our standard UN 1005, which is secondarily done upon a non-flammable gas, which is a story for another day. And then the main hazard is that it's a pressurized gas, right? That is generally liquefied, and that's going to burn your lungs, your skin, your eyes. Your worst case scenario is your inhalation. Though skin contact and eye contact is another bad one.
And you know, this is going to be a fertilizer almost. You know, when we think of ammonia, we should be thinking about fertilizers. But the other thing that we're seeing it more and more often is in refrigeration, right? In terms of large scale. I know that the professional hockey rink in the area I work uses an ammonia system to keep the ice cold. So very prevalent, very common. But yeah, you're going to see this in farming and agriculture more than anything.
So they typically take these things in the MC331, which is like your big Tylenol with wheels, and the capacity of that thing is about 20 tons. They move about 400,000 of those a year, and we have 70 to 120 releases per year. Little fact, about half the nitrogen that we consume in food from humans comes from synthetic ammonia fertilizer. I believe, what is it? Ammonia is the byproduct of the Haber-Bosch process.
Nerd.
Yes, that is pretty
alert. Good. Nerd alert. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. So another factoid. Enough ammonia is moved yearly to fertilize hundreds of millions of acres of farmland.
Yeah. Wow. Of course it is, right? All right. Number 7.
Go.
HCl, hydrochloric acid, right? Estimated around 10 million tons a year is transported. That's UN number 1789. Of course, we know that this is a corrosive, right? Strong acid, right? All the hazards that come with that associated thing, right? We don't want to mix these with our bases. We don't want to touch this to just about anything that could be damaged, right? Worried about our skin contact, eye contact, and of course, inhaling any of those vapors.
Who uses this? Who's shipping this? Chemical manufacturers, steel plants, your garden variety, clandestine lab guy, your bricklayers. They all love this stuff. Oil and gas drilling companies, steel mills, industrial cleaning facilities. They use it to clean steel, stimulating oil wells, which I did not know about, and adjusting pHs in the industrial setting.
Mm-hmm. And so this is obviously going to be hauled in the DOT 412. You know, that little tube, small container, because it's, our acids and bases are generally heavy. So we transport less of it. We got, 22 tons by rail or by road, shipments about 450,000 shipments per year with about 100 to 150 yearly releases. And so here's your little fun fact, right? HCl, hydrochloric acid. This is what your stomach naturally produces, actually. But despite the fact that our bodies produce it, it's actually strong enough to dissolve metal. And if you were to take the tank trucks that move this on a yearly basis, you could make a convoy that would stretch from coast to coast in the United States. That's crazy.
That is nuts. But not as crazy as number 6, our good friend sodium hydroxide, which we lovingly call a caustic soda. They transport about 11 million tons per year. This is under 1824 is the UN code. And this is a corrosive, right? This is the other side of the spectrum. It is a crazy powerful base that destroys tissue and releases heat when it's mixed with water. So you don't want to get this on your skin, your eyes, or your inhalation of any mists of these.
Yeah, and so this is going to be chemical manufacturing too, right? We think about paper mills, different soaps. Obviously, soaps generally sit more on that caustic side. Soaps and detergent producing, aluminum plants. So we're going to use this in paper pulp production. Obviously, like I said, in detergents, and then in aluminum refinery.
Yeah. This is going to be typically done in the DOT 412, which is the corrosive tanker. The capacity is generally about 23 tons, and they're going to make about 480,000 shipments per year with 120 to 170 releases per year. A couple of facts. The same chemical used in drain cleaner is also used to make pretzels and bagels. And as far as that goes, the combined weight of all the sodium hydroxide moved annually would be the equivalent of 7,000 blue whales.
So what's a more shocking number? That 480,000 shipments per year, or the fact that 7,000 blue whales weighs that much? Right? Like 7,000... 7,000 blue whales weigh 11 million tons.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's crazy. Have you ever seen a blue whale? Have you ever seen a whale?
Yeah, sure.
Have you actually? Or are you
Yeah.
full of shit?
No, seriously.
You've never seen a blue whale, though.
I don't know. I didn't really ask it for its ID. I don't know.
There's a place in Wisconsin where they have a life-size replica of a blue whale called the House on the Rock, and it's insane. It has a full-size ship in its mouth.
Oh, wow.
There's your
That's
fun
pretty
fact
cool.
on that.
Well, today's episode is brought to you by Rigaku Analytical Devices, who are the folks who have been perfecting the 1064 nanometer ramen longer than some of you have been doing hazmat.
And they just launched their 4th generation handheld analyzer, the Icon X, built specifically for real world stuff with the things that hazmat teams deal with every day. We're talking dirty powders, mixed materials, dyes, colors, all the things that make other instruments throw a tantrum.
The 1064 nanometer laser means reduced fluorescence, so you get fast, reliable ID in under a minute instead of staring at that blank screen wondering what went wrong.
And this isn't just a new platform. This is a new platform. It's not just an upgrade. It's a whole new toolbox. It supports new accessories, including standoff analysis, so you can get answers without getting too close.
And if you want an analyzer that's been evolving right along us in the hazmat world, check out Rigaku's newest ramen at rigakuanalytical.com. You know what I love about the city?
Oh, the protesters blocking the streets?
No, the e-scooter gangs.
Oh, yes. Nothing screams hazmat like a moped with a battery that's about to go nuclear.
That's where Obexi and FR saves the day.
Lightweight, mobile-friendly, and designed for first responders, because the last thing we need is extra weight when things are heating up.
And it's third-party tested to lower toxic gases below that ideal H level.
So you can actually breathe while you're putting that scooter fire out.
And if you need more, Obexi and FR comes in the pallets or polydrums.
Oh, perfect when you think, we're going to need a lot of this.
Protect your team and your lungs, and go learn more at thehazmatguys.dgeo.com. That's thehazmatguys.dgeo.com.
Beautiful. And we're back.
We're back. Last 5.
Yeah, top 5. Top 5 here. All right. Number 5, sulfuric acid, right? Around 18 million tons a year. That's transported under UN 1830, right? Obviously a corrosive, extremely strong acid, right? We expect this to react violently with water, destroy tissue, just about anything that it gets in contact with.
You know, I think it's the amount of sulfuric acid that is consumed by a country is the economic vibrance of a country. So the more sulfuric you use, the more GDP you have.
That's a very bizarre fun fact. But it also is, what a strange metric. You know, like how deep in the weeds of economic study do you have to go for someone to go, wait a second, I think that their sulfuric acid production is directly proportional to their GDP, right?
Yeah,
you're in the weeds, I think, at that point.
Yeah, it's one of those little things. Chemical manufacturers use this, petroleum manufacturers, refineries, fertilizer plants, battery manufacturers, metal processors, the lead acid battery, everywhere. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be moved in on a 412 once again, about 23 tons in capacity in that vehicle, and then so we're going to be shipping 780,000 shipments a year. Of those, about 150 to 200 of those have a release. And so for scale reference here, if you put all that sulfuric acid into barrels, that line of barrels would stretch from New York City to LA 20 times. It's unbelievable. An unbelievable number. 20 times.
Oh my God. Well, this one's a pretty good one. Number 4, everybody's favorite. It is St. Patrick's Day when we're recording this right now, and it is ethanol.
Don't drink that, though.
I wonder if this is in the context of beer deliveries as well. Oh, it is. Is it?
No, I don't think so. I would imagine this is alcohol or ethanol in terms of fuel, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, the one we're talking about is 35 million tons a year is moved under UN 1170. This is a flammable liquid, so it's not the beer type that we're thinking about. So
you could drink it. I mean, it would. I don't know how it would go.
Get you really banged up, but it'll produce vapors that ignite easily burn very rapidly. Inhalation of those vapors or skin contact or fire exposure is not good.
Yeah, so this is going to be, we're going to see this in ethanol refineries, biofuel plants, fuel terminals. This is fueling vehicles, right? Combustion engines can run on this, right? That's where we're going to see it.
Yeah, and usually you're going to see this in the DOT 406 type fuel tanker. And those can take up to 27 tons of this stuff. We do 1.3 million transports a year, and remarkably only have about 150 to 250 releases per year. And this is a good factoid. When you go to the bar, it burns pretty clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have
and
you ever seen... Go ahead, sorry.
As you add more carbons, you get more yellow until the point where you start getting soot, and that's when you're at like the 10 carbon range. So like the octanol and nonanol and that kind of stuff, you get smoky, and then you got pentanol and butanol. That's like yellow flames, but methanol, ethanol is kind of straight up blue.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the footage of the fires from like Formula One racing where they have like the ethanol fires?
Yeah,
and like you can't
around.
even see it. Everyone looks like they're crazy Ricky Bobby, but it's because they're actually on fire.
I like
Insane.
that. Here's a little factor. The annual production of this will equal about 120 billion bottles of beer.
Sign me up.
Yeah, there you go.
Sign me up. That'll do for the weekend. All right, number 3. We're in the top 3 now. This is the bronze medalist of highway transportation, right? Propane, right? About 70 million tons a year is transported by the highway. That's UN 1075. We know this is a flammable gas. So pressurized gas, right? Our big concerns with this are what, right? We think about BLEVE. We think about overpressurization and a rupture, big explosion, for sure.
Yeah, and when you think about this in scale, it goes from anything from petroleum refineries and processing plants and stuff like that, down to residential fuel distributors, farms, warehouses, forklift operators, down to home heating, cooking, barbecues, farm equipment.
Yeah, and this is going to be transported in that 331, MC331, right? That big Tylenol thing. Obviously, we're very familiar with the propane cylinders that go on our gas grill in the backyard. Basically, functionally similar, except for much larger with wheels. And that's going to hold 20 tons. And we ship 3.5 million of those across the road every year. But we only have 20 to 30 releases. Or sorry, 200 to 300 releases.
That's still not bad.
No. That's not so bad. So fun fact here, expansion ratio. This is a good one to know, right? Liquid propane expands 270 times its volume when released as a gas, right? So we think about that compressed liquefied gas, right? We take that thing that wants to be a gas by nature, we jam it down until the molecules get super tight inside there. They become a liquid. If you release it back to gas, it's going to expand 270 times that volume. And so there's enough propane moved annually to fuel more than 600 million backyard grills.
Good stuff, man. I like this. I like the facts. I'm waiting for the facts.
I love facts.
All right. Number 2, diesel. Diesel fuel, the silver medalist for this year's competition. We are transporting 140 million tons of this a year. This is under the 1202/1203, and this is a combustible liquid. It burns very intensely and produces heavy smoke. Our main problems are the fire exposure, inhalation of vapors, and skin contact.
Yeah, and this one goes without saying, right? Diesel fuel, we're expecting it to be at, gas stations. Also, imagine you have all your generators, right, for emergency backup power. Those are all going to have diesel fuel. Trucking companies, railroads, diesel fuel is everywhere, as you can imagine, based on the fact that this is our silver medalist. You should expect to see this a lot of places.
Now, we typically move this in the DOT 406 fuel tanker, which can hold up to 28 tons, but we move about 5 million times a year, and we only have 800 to 1,000 releases per year. Couple of facts, and I'll even throw one extra in. Some diesel engines can run over 1 million miles before they need to be overhauled. I also this one you might like. We had a diesel engine, a tractor trailer that would not shut off because once it doesn't need electric. You know, it has no alternator, those things, right? So the way we turned it off was use the CO2 extinguisher, and we put it into the air intake, and it choked it out. That's how it turned it off.
Wow! Look at that.
Yeah, so put that in your pipe and smoke that one. Annual diesel use could fill about 90,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
This is another one where I don't know what's more impressive. Is it is that a ton of diesel fuel or is that a ton of pools? I don't know. I feel like 90,000 pools is a lot of pools, but that's also a lot. That's how many pools it would take to fill the whole United States. I don't know.
I guess
seems like a lot. All right, I would guess if anyone's ever been on a roadway, they know what number one's going to be, right? Because you can't drive to the gas station from your house, no matter how close you live, without seeing this thing. Number one, gold medalist is gasoline, right? Right, 300 million tons a year is transported on the highway, right? UN 1203, flammable liquid, right? Biggest concern here is it catching on fire and burning you to death, right? That's what our big concern is, right? Right. I always say you don't put gloves on when you fill up your car. You don't wear a mask when you fill up your car, but you are worried about it lighting you on fire, right?
it is one of the most dangerous chemicals that we are so comfortable with as a humanity. It's insane. It's and it's everywhere, like refineries, terminals, distributors, gas stations, cars, people filling up their little things for the snowblower, the weed whacker, whatever it is, everything.
Yeah, and so this is going to be a 406, 27 tons. We're going to do 11 million shipments per year. So 1,200 to 1,500 releases a year. Here's where the fun fact to bring all the other fun facts to their knees, because this is insane. Americans are going to burn enough gasoline annually to drive over 1 trillion, that's trillion with a T, trillion miles, right?
Wow.
That distance equals driving to the sun and back more than 5 times. That's annually.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.